This Buena Vista Beaver team has come afire.
Fasten your seatbelts, here we
and
go.
And the Beaver students rush the floor.
Buena Vista wins!
Thank you. And can I see a wave from the back of the room? Can you hear me all right? Okay. Appreciate it. I am Tim Gallagher. I am a 1990 graduate of Buena Vista. I work in development and alumni communications, and I'll be your MC this evening. Thank you. First, I would like to introduce to you, to give a brief welcome, our president, President Brian Lensmeyer. He's been here for 21 years, a professor of biology, now a great president leading us. He is a former student athlete himself, and this event is extremely near and dear to his heart. I'd like to bring forward President Brian Lensmeyer.
All right, welcome everybody. It's a great night. It's so great to see such a large group here tonight to celebrate 5 individuals and a team as members of our Buena Vista University Hall of Fame. I'm grateful to you Hall of Famers and those who've joined you here tonight. I know some of you and had great fortune of watching a few of you compete for Buena Vista. I'd like to share a couple of words about our honorees. So Keven Besch. Kevin suffered through teaching 2 of my boys in the Storm Lake School District. He's been such a steady, knowledgeable, energetic presence around BVU wrestling and in the Storm Lake Community School Districts since the mid-'80s. You're still extremely popular among our Storm Lake students because of the belief that you have that every kid, and the fact that you have coached or coached nearly every sport, you've made a difference in so many kids' lives. So congratulations, Kevin. Brad Blum, I had the opportunity to watch you play shortstop. Cheered you on as you won a conference championship in 2010, ending a 29-year drought. The foundation that you and your teammates helped build remains strong with our Beaver baseball team today as we compete for league championships and national tournament berths every year. It's no surprise that you've gone on to make an impact teaching and coaching at Underwood High School, where your Eagles have soared to state in football and basketball last year, then capped it all off with a state baseball championship. Congratulations to you, Brad. Our 2003-2004 women's basketball team. Boy, you spoiled me. My first year here on campus was that amazing, amazing season. 27-3. You won a conference title, a conference tournament. You hosted an NCAA tournament to a packed Siebens Field house. That was amazing. Everyone on campus felt so much more confident, in part because of you. A huge percentage of your team made it here tonight to celebrate. Coaches Janet and Steve Barry and all of you, thank you for inspiring me and for having such a great season my first year here. Congratulations. Rick Schweitzberger. You wrestled for Coach Al Baxter and the Beavers just before I got here. But I've heard your story, and we're going to learn more about that tonight. What you did as a senior is one of the most remarkable examples of resiliency that I've ever heard. And when it comes to being a Beaver student athlete, your performance, your commitment, unparalleled. And like Kevin and Brad, you continue to leave your mark on your sport by elevating and encouraging dozens of young wrestlers in and around Van Meter. Congratulations, Rick, on an honor well deserved. Jenny Lange Mavis. Jenny, I just got to meet you a little bit ago. Like many others of our Hall of Fame, our class of 2024, you competed just before I started here. I remain in awe of what you did on the court and in track and field and in the classroom. You started and excelled in 2 sports, which run simultaneously for part of the season. Yet you still earned sterling grade point average during that time and a pair of All-American honors, one of which came in a discipline you'd never done before. You too have gone on to find success both personally and professionally in your field. And to me, you are a hallmark of the student-athlete experience at BVU. Thank you, Jenny, for setting an example for so many of our students. And Mike Wilson, finally, yeah. I didn't have the fortune of seeing you play throw or punt a football or dunk a basketball or rifle that javelin through the air, but I have seen you hit a golf ball, and you're pretty darn good at that. Your team won the Schweitzberger Golf Classic this last year, and you've been back the first one, and you've been back ever since to reconnect and build our football program. And you came within, 2 inches of a hole-in-one this last summer at the Hirsch Classic? That's amazing. You won, because of that, a cash prize for that shot. And just like a Hall of Famer, you immediately turned around and gave that back to BVU. What a big gesture. I can't believe how amazing you are at golf, and that wasn't even a sport that you played here. So congratulations to you. And it's my understanding this is probably the first Friday night football game you're missing in Southeast Iowa in about 33 years, right? We're glad you're here with us tonight. I'm pleased you're here, and congratulations to all of the members of the class of 2024. Well done. And now at this time, I'd like to introduce our Director of Athletics, an 11-year veteran of Buena Vista University, and the lead person in organizing this special event tonight. I'm honored to present to you Amy Mayer, BVU's Director of Athletics.
Thank you, Brian. I would just like to take a little bit of time and do some quick thank yous and shout outs. So first, I'd like to thank Sodexo for the work that they do in setting up this event and the meal that we are about to enjoy. I would also like to thank my fellow staff members, Jess Hoffman, Stephen Phelps, Tim Gallagher, and in particular, Ryan Harder, who puts together the memorable video clips we will see shortly, for all the assistance that they provided in making this a great event. I couldn't do it without them. Kevin, Mike, Rick, Jenny, Brad, and the members of the 2004 women's basketball team. It is our pleasure to honor you and all your accomplishments here tonight. As you become the newest members of an illustrious group, I would like to quickly recognize those previous members of the Hall of Fame in attendance tonight, and there's quite a bit of them. Please give a little wave as I say your name. Scott Bailey, Katie McGuire Campbell, or maybe stand up, I don't know. Jess Jensen Carney, Brett Christensen, Jim DeMars, Amy Meggers Davis, Dan Dresser, Russ Eady, Chanel Finzen, Steph Grono, Joy Johnson Gross, Jeannie DeMars Henningsen, Tom Mashik, Brandon Piatzik, Brad Rohr, Mike Schimp, Ryan Schweitzberger, Steve Trost, Paul Van Osbury, and Coach Marge Willitson. Additionally, I know we have a number of alumni present who were part of a Beaver team that we inducted into the Hall of Fame, a practice that we began in 2017. If you are a member of a BVU team that is enshrined in our Hall of Fame, can you please wave or stand up and let us give you a hand as well? So that's incredible. I think this is the biggest group of former Hall of Famers that we have ever had back, at least in my time here. So thank you for joining us and helping celebrate our newest members. Did I miss anyone? Jamie Texas. Oh, Jamie. Thank you. Sorry about that. It's inevitable I miss one every year. I would also like to thank our coaching staff for the tireless work that they do for our student athletes, our alumni, and the broader BVU community. We have a group of them here tonight, so if you would please stand as I call your name. We will start with one of our newest coaches and excited to bring her back as an alumnus, Kylie Betcher, class of 2002, head women's basketball coach. Trevor Johnson, head men's basketball coach. Austin Dickinson, head football coach. Jesse Juarez, head track and field. Bethany Martin, assistant cross country track and field. Janet Berry, who coached tonight's Hall of Fame team and who continues to offer her expertise as one of our current assistant volleyball coaches. Paige Storm, women's wrestling. Sean White, men's wrestling. Kayla Bradley, assistant men's and women's wrestling. Shane Mayer, athletic performance. Nate Hanner, assistant baseball. And our unofficial dean of coaches for his tenure and success on the diamond, who begins his 25th season this year, head baseball coach Steve Eady. We also have a brand new retiree with us this evening, longtime assistant baseball coach Steve Sonka, who will be honored by the Beaver baseball program during its tailgate tomorrow on his retirement after 18 successful seasons with BVU. Thank you, Steve. After the event, we will capture some photos of all the inductees, and then I encourage all guests to join the live music in the beer garden outside on the South Forum patio, and as well as all the other exciting events planned this weekend by the Office of Alumni Engagement. I now turn it back over to Tim Gallagher to give us the prayer before dinner.
Thank you, Amy. Please join me in a moment of prayer and reflection. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together this evening in safety and in health. Bless the food that nourishes us and watch over those who work hard to prepare it. We are grateful for the unity we share as teammates and as friends, as family members and colleagues. We are blessed because of the blessings you provide. We ask for your mercy and grace as we continue to do our most important work, serving you by serving others. In your name we pray. Amen. Well, go ahead and eat. You can dig into your salad and they'll bring the entrees out right now. Enjoy the conversation and the great food. Thanks again to our great staff at Sodexo for serving us this evening. Please continue finishing your entree. Yes, a round of applause for Sodexo. We will start tonight's Hall of Fame inductions with the senior statesman of this group, Keven Besch, Buena Vista class of 1987. Keven Besch of Belmont was a two-time All-American at Buena Vista. You could also say he's an All-American when it comes to BVU wrestling involvement and in building connections throughout his career as a teacher in Storm Lake. Joining Keven tonight are several of his family members, and most all of them are Beavers themselves. He's extremely grateful and proud to have them joining him here tonight celebrating the accomplishment. We've got Kevin and Kate, KJ and Mary, Steve and Kathy Botholt, and then in the back, Jim Lenth. In Kevin's video, we will hear from Keven himself, of course. We'll also hear from two men who are probably just like family for the Besches, Coach Al Baxter and Ben Strandberg. Ben was a Beaver who was coached by Keven and then coached with Keven years later.
Hello, this is Al Baxter. First of all, I just want to congratulate all the inductees that are going into the Hall of Fame. What a tremendous honor that is. I'm going to talk about Keven Besch.
I'm Ben Strandberg. I graduated from Buena Vista University in 2008, but when Keven entered my life, I honestly can't remember. He's always been there.
Keven was a two-time All-American. He placed third in the nation as a junior and seventh as a senior, even though he was hurt, which is really doing something.
Keven Besch graduated in '87, coached and taught at Storm Lake for 39 years. Coached at BV, helped out here and back and forth helping.
He went to Waldorf and was going to quit wrestling after that.
They took the fun out of it at Waldorf for me. I was going to Maryville. I was going to go to school there. I was all set up.
I found out about him, I think, through Mike Schiff to give him a call, so I did.
And I'm like, how did you get the number? He goes, why? I need to take you out. And I said, yeah, I'm done with wrestling. I'm heading to Maryville. And he goes, no. I said, just give me 5 minutes to talk to you. I said, Al, you don't need to do that. I know you from wrestling camp. I know what kind of guy you are. I know how happy he made me when I'd walk in the room and see him. And I said, I'll come and see you for that.
And he decided to come to Buena Vista.
It was an easy decision to come.
He had his own style of wrestling. He'd kind of go out there, just kind of tie up a little bit and just wait for them to shoot at him. And when they shot at him, he would give them a kind of a limp leg, cut the corner on him, and before long, he had the legs in. And when he put the legs in, I mean, he had those guys squealing like a pig.
The guy's indestructible. Like, he doesn't stop.
The kid I was wrestling for third place, he shot in and I threw the leg in, flipped him over to his back, and then he did it again. I let him up, he shot in, and I took him to his back, and he goes, ref, what's he doing? What's he doing? He goes, beating you.
I'd see those guys about 15, 20 minutes after the match, and they'd be about 2 inches taller after he stretched them out, and they'd be walking around with their head down because he put that power half in.
In his day and age, I don't know if I'd have want to run into Keven Besch.
I'm so happy for him and so proud of what he's accomplished after graduation. I know he's taught at Storm Lake, has been a coach there, has had a tremendous influence on a lot of young people in Storm Lake.
I want to give back to the sport as much as it gave to me. I was coaching with them. He was the head coach, and he asked me to be his assistant.
It's funny to have your assistant coach be the guy teaching you how to do things as you're being a head coach.
And we were at one of the first meets. The call was made, and it was probably not the right call. And he started to get up. I said, where are you going?
Grabbing me by the shirt and pulling me down. I'm like, what? He goes, he's wrong. He goes, I know he's wrong, Ben, but he's not going to listen to you.
What are you going to tell him? Do you think it's going to change anything? And he sat back down. He looked over at me. Lo and behold, the same move happened. Just the opposite for them.
Sometimes you got to let things go and let the match progress. He goes, you got to whoa every once in a while, whether that be in the wrestling room. You got to kind of look at each kid individually. And that was really Keven.
He has influenced positively every young person that he's worked with at Storm Lake.
I'm like, you know how many people freaking love you? Everybody loves Keven.
I think it meant more to him to win for the team than it did for him individually.
You want to talk BV wrestling, he's probably the longest standing thing that exists. You know, nobody will ever compare to Al Baxter, but Keven Besch is next. He's the guy that's coming in the room and just trying to pep guys up and sharing a different perspective. I mean, I think that's why we're doing what we're doing and putting him where he belongs.
I'm just so thankful, feel so blessed. I feel like that was something that I should have never dreamt about, because I didn't think that could ever be me, but very, very blessed to be a part of this group of athletes, to be a Beaver, just to be. It's such a family, so it's family and it's friends that you'll never forget. I don't think anybody could have loved me, cared for me, and took care of me as much as the people, and still do. It's just the love that made me go. I love the kids, I love the athletes that I teach and coach and do things with. I love them all.
Keven, in closing, I just want to tell you how very proud I am of you and what a joy it was to coach you. And I tell you what, you gave me a lot of wonderful moments to think about, and to watch you wrestle, the way you wrestled, using those legs and so forth, and what you've accomplished since graduating from Buena Vista, and the success that you've had in so many areas of your life. Again, I'm just very proud of you.
Keven, what can I say, man? I don't think of anybody else that deserves this more than you. I can't wait to celebrate with you and tell some more lies, because that's what we do. Congratulations, buddy.
Hall of Famer Keven Besch. Ref, what's he doing? What's he doing? He's beating you. Congratulations, Keven. And please know, following the program, we'll have all the Hall of Famers assemble for a group photo as well. And we will share these videos with you so that you can share with whomever you wish to. Thanks again. Great job, Keven. Our second inductee tonight, class of 2024, is Mike Wilson. Mike Wilson grew up in Emmitsburg, and it seemed that about 25% of our student body grew up in Emmitsburg at that time. They were all Ehawks around here. He was a 3-sport athlete who climbed the record in total yardage in football. He was also the punter, and there were, I think, 7 or 8 NFL scouts that came here to look at Wills. He went out for basketball. He earned team MVP honors in basketball, and then he picked up the javelin. And with the javelin, he set the conference record and became an All-American. Mike is a principal at Mount Pleasant High School. He's impacted thousands of lives of young people throughout his career. He is joined tonight by his wife, Kate, their sons, Brock, Brevin, and Bryce. Also in the family contingent, Lori Roth, Kathy Adrian, Aubrey Duncan, and Mike's biggest fan, his mom, Ann. In Mike's video, we're going to hear from his teammate and his roommate, Jim DeMars, and longtime track and field coach, Keith Schmidt, who is also an Ehawk.
Mike Wilson scores for Buena Vista on a 4-yard run. I'm Jim DeMars, played football with Mike Wilson for 4 years, played basketball with him for a year, and we also lived together for 4 years at Buena Vista, which was quite interesting.
I had the pleasure of coaching Mike Wilson a few years while he was a student here at BV. He was involved in football as well. It wasn't until later on in his collegiate career that he decided to give track a try, but we're certainly glad that he did.
It was really very simple. We were in our conference room at Emmitsburg High School, and in sat Jim Hirschberger, and it just felt like it was the right place. I went from being black and gold to blue and gold, and that was great. I didn't want to be red, I didn't want to be orange.
But I remember Wills because he was tall, he was 6'5", skinny guy from Emmitsburg, and he's a quarterback. And I'm thinking, great, quarterback from Emmitsburg, we're never going to throw the ball.
The first time that I had to play, I was there as the punter. Dave Widener, a kid, was from Pocahontas, was the quarterback. He was on a scramble, got tackled out of bounds. He was concussed. The next day I came in, Kevin Lux, he goes to throw a pass, throws a pass, and hits his thumb on a helmet and breaks his thumb. Here comes the punter. That's what I'm jogging out there thinking, oh, here comes the punter, this is gonna be great. And I'll never forget this because my good friend Rick Brennan stood up in front of everybody in the huddle and says, don't worry, Wilson's got this. We had 2 drives in a row where we went down and scored.
But you could tell something was different with Wills. He had a little swagger to him, if you want to call it, to where when we were in the huddle, he commanded leadership there.
I think we were playing co-college at home. They had punted one and pinned us down inside the 6-yard line somewhere in there.
And Wills was like, he saw something.
And I ran over to the sidelines and I said, if we run an I-Army 58Q zip, they're gonna bite for it. And I think I can hit this.
He said, hey, I'm gonna audible this one. We're gonna fake the pitch to Bailey, and we're gonna have you run a slant between the linebackers and free safety. We got out there and we saw where the defense was lined up. He audibled, I gave my little face mask grab.
And he runs like a 3-yard slant. And I mean, I threw it right to him. I probably didn't throw the ball more than 8 yards. And he went 89 the rest, and it was cool. That was a really cool play.
He was great at basketball. He had some ups. He could get up and dunk it really easy.
I think I went out every year. More times than not, Coach Spielman would always say, come on in. I suppose you want some shoes, don't you?
He would get the free shoes, and then he wasn't around all the time.
I went out, got the shoes. I only lasted about a week, and then I had like a knee scope. The second year, I played the bulk of the season, but I really wanted to be there because I wanted to hang out with Jim, Brad Rohr, and the Gunnarsons, and all those guys that were playing.
But he had a lot of injuries he had to tend to.
I was with the team the whole time, but then I had 2 years off, mostly because of injuries and weird things. That 5th year, 91-92 season, I think I scored 31 points at Upper Iowa. That was kind of my basketball highlight, mic drop. The track career was actually kind of an interesting deal. In the spring, in Division III, you couldn't have organized practices for football. You couldn't have any of that stuff. So a lot of times we would get together on our own. We would go out there and we would have passing drills.
I knew that he had a good arm. Approached him about trying to throw the javelin.
We were out there on the football field and he comes over and he says, you ought to try this javelin. He says, it's just like throwing a football.
Mike had no idea what track was. To this day, you'd have to give him directions. If you put him on the track, he wouldn't know what direction to turn.
In between one of my classes, I went in and saw Coach Smith, and he gave me a javelin, and he said, you're just gonna walk around, and you're gonna learn how to just throw this thing and stick it in the ground.
He caught on to that. Sophomore year, he just kind of played around with it.
It just clicked for me. I really liked it. I became hooked.
He's able to throw a football a mile. It was perfect. It was great thinking on Coach Smith's part, make him into an All-American.
Continued to throw in his football cleats throughout his collegiate career.
When I set the conference record, it was at Central College, which made it even sweeter.
And the second he released that, I remember calling and said, that's a big throw. That throw still is his conference record to this day.
That throw got me provisionally into the national championships.
And I remember him warming up, and I was sitting there with a few of the coaches, and he let go one of his throws, and one of the coaches who I didn't know at all says, wow, that kid's got a rocket for an arm.
I'm so appreciative of it. It means a lot. I don't know how these things get decided, but I am truly honored.
Mike, congratulations on your induction into the BVU Hall of Fame. Your career here at BV is impeccable. The success that you had in football, your contribution in basketball, and certainly the success that you had in track, or should I say in field, was very impressive. You've gone on to do some amazing things in your professional career as a teacher, as a coach, now as an administrator. Congratulations, and again, honor well deserved.
Well, congratulations, Wills, for making it into the Hall of Fame this year. I know you were very excited when you received that call, and as Brad Rohr, myself, and Scott Bailey that all played with you, it's a great honor to welcome you to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Mike Wilson. Rick Schweitzberger is our third Hall of Fame individual inductee tonight. Rick grew up in Kingsley, and whereas Emmetsburg might have been such a pipeline for BV in the 1980s, Kingsley would have certainly been one in the 1980s and 1990s and early 2000s. Rick is a two-time wrestling All-American who should have been a no-doubter three-time All-American, but we'll learn more about that. He manages construction and development at Signature Real Estate in Urbandale. He's also managing the development of the Van Meter Youth Wrestling programs as it turns heads in central Iowa. Like so many of you, Rick is joined tonight by lots of teammates and friends, former roommates, etc. His immediate family here this evening includes his wife Annie and their children Emery, Teague, and Aniston. Also, Ron and Vicki Schweitzberger are here, as are Rich and Crystal Johnson, and Daryl and Angie Dodge, and Rick's brother, Ryan Schweitzberger, Ryan's wife Angie, and their daughter Ava. In Rick's video, we will hear from a pair of BV Hall of Famers, legendary coach Al Baxter, and Rick's older brother, Ryan, who was a teammate at BV and then helped coach as he served as Coach Baxter's assistant coach for Rick's last 2 years.
Schweitzberger looks pretty good. He may end up getting the takedown.
They're going to be dancing in the streets and probably making statues of the Schweitzberger boys in Kingsley, Iowa. I'm so very happy for you, Rick. This is a tremendous honor that you're very deserving of.
I think it was just natural for Rick to come to BV. Obviously, I was there. We competed together in high school, little kids together. The next thing was let's do it together in college.
With wrestling, everything goes back to my brother. It really does. My brother did it, so I did it. I saw him doing it, I wanted to do it.
From the beginning whistle until the match was over, you were going 100%. I don't know of anyone that could keep up with you.
Nobody liked wrestling Rick because he was all gas, no brakes. As soon as that whistle blew, he was on you. He was never off of you.
You were 8th as a sophomore. Your junior year, you were seated 3rd in the nation.
I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was standing on the mat. Someone from the team, BV's team, came up and said, "Hey, your brother might not be able to wrestle in the national tournament." He didn't pass the skin check.
A fever blister. There's been other people wrestle with that and not being kicked out of a tournament, let alone the national tournament where you're seated 3rd.
They pull me aside. And next thing you know, I'm standing outside of a room where 7 coaches are deciding my fate.
The vote was 4 no's and 3 yeses. And the 4 coaches that voted him no had guys seated in his bracket.
I can't prove anything there. I know that I went bonkers. They almost banned me from the tournament, I think, but I was so mad. I get mad thinking about it now.
The hardest part of it, honestly, was my friends and family weren't there yet. They're on a plane when this is all happening. And then you get back to the hotel and you have to tell them. Yeah, I was pissed. I was pissed off for 365 days.
Senior year, Rick he couldn't wait to get back on the mat. He watched his team get 4th place in the nation without him. Rick, he worked hard. It was just, he put everything he had into the sport. Yeah, he actually pins a kid. I think he tech-falled the next kid, and then here's the big match, semifinals, #1 seed.
You wrestled the defending national champion from Augsburg, which had a powerhouse program.
Yeah, the buildup was, this is the match of his life. He wins this matches in the national finals.
You 2 guys went at it like if you tied 2 Tomcats' tails together and put them in a gunny sack.
We threw the house at each other. It was fun.
Constant action and countering. And, you thought, oh boy, he's going to get a takedown, then the guy would counter. Then just vice versa, and just the whole time.
Rick's ahead of Marchetti by 1. 3rd period, match is winding down, gets the stalling call with 7-8 seconds left. Baxter flipped out. I flipped out.
I called for stalling to put it in overtime. All I did is wrestle. It happened, move on. Well, I couldn't control it. Probably minute 30 into the match when I finally took him down. We were facing the crowd where all of our friends, I had friends from Kingsley go there, I had a lot of friends from BV, and I remember seeing all their excitement.
You finally beat him just on nothing but guts and determination in overtime, and I'll never forget that match as long as I live.
Yeah, one thing, and I hope you play this. Everybody talks to me about my junior year and what happened to me. I got to clear the air. I wouldn't change any of that for nothing. If that doesn't happen, I don't know why I performed the way I do my senior year. That gave me a perspective that I carry today. If you had to tell me right now to go back and change that day, I wouldn't. Why I'm sitting here is a product of the environment that I've had my whole life. From my family, you know, my parents, my brother, my high school teammates, high school friends. I mean, I've always been fortunate to be at the right place with the right people in my life. If you didn't wrestle for Al Baxter, you got cheated in life. I mean, you can't even describe the influence he had on us, the fun we had. At the same time, he'd grab you with his big old bear paws and squeeze you until your head popped off. When I was done wrestling at BV, it was done. And I wanted to make sure I had no tread left on those tires. And I know I did that.
Rick, congratulations on a well-deserved career you had, on and off the mat. I can be more proud of you. The experiences we had together in wrestling will forever be a big part of my life. I also want to congratulate you on being a Hall of Fame dad and husband.
Rick, in closing, I just want to tell you how very proud I am, and I know your family and your teammates, everyone that knows you, how proud they are of you and what you've done with your life, not only on the wrestling mat, but as a husband, as a father. Thanks for the memories.
Rick Schweitzberger. And a note, Stephen Phelps, thank you, Stephen, put together a program that's at everybody's place, which lists almost all of their athletic accomplishments. And it's great to have. It's a keepsake. Please keep it, and the videos will work the same way. Now on to Jennifer Lange Mavis. Jenny is a business systems analyst at Boys Town in Omaha. She calls her career a great opportunity to help families and the people who support the children at Boys Town. She lives out BV's Education for Service motto. Jenny kept busy at Buena Vista with her academic work and two sports, basketball and track and field. She was a two-time All-American in the shot put. She won the conference in both the shot put and the javelin, and like Mike Wilson, she'd never thrown the javelin before coming to Buena Vista. Jenny said one of her great athletic memories is simply that of her friends and peers in the student section at Siebens Fieldhouse. She said she'll never forget the feeling of running down the court with nothing but the sounds of friends' voices cheering on the team. Jenny is joined tonight by her husband, Don, and their children, Lizzie and Thomas. In her video, we'll hear from Jenny and her coaches, Janet Berry and Keith Schmidt.
Lange, she's going to make that shot right over top of you.
Coaching Jenny Lange, who we always called Lange, was about as easy you could get. She always just kind of had a shy smile on her face, very, very quiet, and just went out and did it.
Jenny is maybe one of the nicest people that you would ever met. Quiet, kind of unassuming, real pleasure to coach.
I tried to actually ask her teammates, did Lange ever even get in trouble ever? Because I could never remember that, and they said, absolutely not.
The one time that she would change is that when she got into competition, it's like she had this hidden personality because she was a fierce competitor.
Somebody who just athletically could run and jump and went out and did her job.
It was an opportunity to get a really great education in accounting and have great opportunity to continue the athletics that I love, to continue basketball and track.
Meeting Jenny Lange was kind of an experience the first time I got to watch her play. We didn't recruit a lot of kids out in Nebraska, and we drove over there, watched Jenny play. Post player, 6'1", runs the floor, all the great things. We go to get in our car to leave, and it was so foggy, we had to stop multiple times to find the road. We laughed on the way back. We thought, if this kid does not come here, and we absolutely risk our lives for this, we will be very, very disappointed. But luckily she did. Absolutely delightful and it was well worth the trip.
It was a challenge, but it was a challenge I really wanted to accept and take on because I like being busy. I like having something to do every moment of the day. And while it meant more hours when we're on the road and studying while we're on the bus traveling, it was fun. It was completely worth it. For basketball, blocking and rebounding were my primary things.
She left her mark in our record book in rebound and block shots.
Blocking helped my teammates and rebounding helped my teammates become great athletes because they were able to get second shots, more opportunities, and just help the team overall.
And in Jenny's case, a national qualifier, a potential All-American, was certainly on the radar.
One of the nice things also with going to Buena Vista and being in track there was getting to throw javelin, which was a huge fun thing for me. It was something out of the norm.
She caught on to it and did quite well with it.
The meets that really stick in my mind are the Division III national ones that I participated in. I medaled in I think it was my sophomore and senior year, but I participated in the outdoor meets for sophomore, junior, and senior. So those really stuck in my head as just being on such a huge stage. When you have a throw that you put everything behind, yeah.
I was shocked when I heard what a great thrower she was because she never said, oh yeah, I'm pretty good. And then I remember seeing some of the results. We'd have to tease her a little bit because she would never ever talk about herself. So to see how well she did and just kept getting better and then became an All-American in track and field, which was amazing.
I remember just feeling this outburst of energy and just a great movement through the ring that ended up being what it needed to be to get 5th place, and that was awesome.
She was just a fierce competitor. She had goals, she had ambitions.
But again, always just not one arrogant bone in her body, and even probably getting this honor is surprised by it.
And I was just shocked. I know it's weird to say shocked, but I don't see myself as like the best athlete at Buena Vista. And I see all the athletes that have been inducted, and I was not only shocked, but I'm honored to be considered in that same level as them, because there are some amazing, not only women's basketball players, but also track athletes that have been inducted already, and I am honored to feel that I can be in that same group as them.
Jenny, I want to congratulate you on a well-deserved honor of being inducted into the BVU Hall of Fame. Your hard work, dedication to both basketball and track, as well as your contribution to the university, is impeccable. And you continue on successfully in your career, have a beautiful family, very deserving of the honor.
Jenny, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations and welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer Jennifer Lange Mavis. Now we go to the baseball diamond as we induct Brad Blum into the Hall of Fame. Brad is a 2011 graduate. He started all 170 games for the baseball team. He was the first Beaver to reach the 200 hits mark, and he went right past it to 222. More importantly, he helped lead his team to the conference regular season title, a conference tournament title, and a pair of berths in the NCAA tournament. In 2011, the team reached the College World Series. He's now a championship coach, having celebrated the state title as an assistant baseball coach this summer at Underwood. He was the head basketball coach as well and guided the Eagles to their first state tournament appearance ever earlier this year. Brad and his wife, Steph, are joined tonight by their immediate family, which includes Phil and Janet Blum, Mark and Sarah Blum, and David and Christy Hurdy. In Brad's video, we will hear from him as well as his older brother Mark, who played 2 seasons with Brad, and their coach, Buena Vista Beaver Steve Eady.
Here's one well hit left center field. Beavers win it in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, Brad was kind of the heart and soul of our team. Brad is a winner. He's always been a winner.
Like, he's very good at communicating. He was always there to pick you up. He was the first one there to say, hey, shake it off, you got this next one, or hey, it's coming to you here. If there's anybody else you want to play next to, it's that guy.
Being the youngest in his family, you could just kind of tell that he was used to playing with older kids.
He was always the most intelligent kid on the court or on the field. That really benefited him being undersized, I think, as a younger kid, because he learned how to just play the game. How Brad got tied to BV. The credit, actually, a lot of it goes to my sister, Christy.
I remember specifically sitting in the office. Christy was working at the front desk. Christy, where are you from? She told me Erling, Iowa, and I'm like, no way. What's your last name? And she said Blum. I'm like, oh my God. And I think that really is what changed the dynamic of our program is that conversation.
She got me there, and then Brad kind of made the decision where I was going, he was going.
I mean, other coaches recruited me, but it kind of fell on deaf ears, and I kind of knew I was going to be going to Buena Vista.
To have those 2 guys on our campus and on our baseball team was a game changer for us.
He was kind of undersized, didn't really fill into his body until got into BV, got into the weights a little bit, maybe the soft serve a little bit too. Literally from there just absolutely took off.
You know, we talk about how he's kind of the pulse of the team. He's our leadoff hitter, he's our shortstop. I mean, he's the glue that makes this thing hold together here. And I remember in 2010 in the conference tournament, you know, we had to knock off the bully, Wartburg, and they got on us in the first inning and scored 2 or 3, and then they just did what they did best. They started chirping at us and trying to intimidate us, and Brad comes up in the bottom of the first and lines a triple off the left center field wall. He gets over to third, looks at me, looks in the dugout, and basically said, we're not taking this anymore. And you could just see the entire mentality of our team changed.
And then I think we blitzed through the conference tournament, almost untouchable in the conference.
But that's who he was. He was a competitor, and he just believed in it so much. And we won our first conference tournament championship. In 2011, when we found out we made the regional tournament, probably one of the last teams selected as an at-large. It was finals week. I really didn't know how we were going to play. I'm looking for the best motivational speech I could ever give to get these guys ready to go. And I kind of leaned on Brad a little bit, and I just said, Brad, what do I need? What do you guys need from me? And he's just like, Coach, we got it. And we played as beautiful a baseball as I've ever seen.
It's almost like a big weight was lifted off our shoulders, and a lot of us just went out there and played loose. Yeah, that's the time we were able to win the regional tournament in kind of thrilling fashion, and then make it to the World Series.
And he just knew, like, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right. Just let us go do our thing.
Always a guy that was very much focused on the team.
Stats did not matter to Brad. It was about, did we win or did we lose?
There's one statistic to me that sticks out more than ever, and I think it's the one that he loves the most. It's not all the hits, it's not all the stolen bases, it's not the fielding percentage. It's actually that he still leads BV with hit by pitches. That's the statistics that he absolutely loves. I don't know if there's a magnet somewhere on his body, but the ball just found him.
With Coach Eady and even Coach Sonka, who's just retiring, anytime with athletics, you just pick up stuff from everybody that you've been around, and I think I try to do that the best I can.
And to then see him take all of his success he had as a player and see that completely be flipped over to his success as a coach, absolutely awesome to watch.
I trusted him so much that I allowed him to coach third base. You know, you could just tell he was going to be an unbelievable coach, but to see what he's done on the coaching side now, the people at Underwood are so lucky to have him there.
It's a special feeling. I enjoyed every second while I was up at Buena Vista. Wouldn't change it for the world, so I guess to cap it off with a Hall of Fame inductee, that's pretty cool.
Brad, congratulations on your Hall of Fame. Couldn't be more proud of you as your brother and as a friend. You've put in a lot of hard work, all the time spent watching ESPN as your very, very little kid. Congrats on your success. Myself, the family, as well as your teammates and friends, we're all incredibly proud of you.
Congratulations, Brad, on your induction to the BVU Hall of Fame. I'm fortunate to have had a front row seat to watch your career unfold. Now to see you being so successful as a coach, but no one enjoys watching your successes more than me. So congratulations to you and your family. Welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Brad Blum. Little ice cream for the Hall of Famer. Now to our team induction. The 2003-2004 women's basketball team. 7 years ago, we began inducting teams into the BVU Athletics Hall of Fame, and this is our first basketball team to be inducted. The 03-04 women's team, which celebrates its 20th anniversary, won the Iowa Conference regular season, the Iowa Conference tournament, and advanced to the Sweet 16. In our final video tribute, we will hear from Coach Janet Berry as she shares insight on this Hall of Fame squad.
Buena Vista pulling off the win as the Beavers take over the Carleton Knights.
The 2003-2004 was an amazing team, but before they were great, that senior class was 9-19 as sophomores, 19-9, then 27-3. And the three losses their senior year were to Morningside, the eventual NAIA national champ, Loris, who we lost to in overtime, and to Puget Sound, who we lost to in the Sweet 16 by 4 points. We had a great starting lineup. Amy Magers, who was considered one of the greatest power forwards in the country that year, Kelly Taylor, who was, in my opinion, one of the greatest competitors in the country, Christina Kapler, who could not only rebound it but could score it, Katie McGuire, who had a handle, quickness, and could score, and Megan Holtorf, who was one of the smartest players and rarely made a mistake. Coming off the bench, we had players like Jess Griggs, Kelly Staley, Holly McDonough, Lindsay Stuhlman, Jenny DeWall, and Tracy Hartwig. But the only way you become great is you have to have people to go against in practice every day. So people like Crystal Richardson, Crystal Kruger, Penny Heitman, Jolene Bossum, Lindsay Meyer, Yvanka Russ, and Tia Moore came to practice every single day and made us better. When I look back at that season, 3 games come to mind. The first one is the Central game when we played them the second time. If we won that game, we would win the conference title. We'd have a share of it, and we would win it early. We had a 2-game lead going into that game. We never talked about it with our team. We never even discussed it. And it was a dogfight that night. It was back and forth the whole night, and somehow we held on for a 1-point victory. Walking to the locker room, I barely made it. I was weak in the knees. I was so excited and just so relieved that we had clinched that title. And to open up that locker room door and to share that joy with that team was amazing. Well, we rolled through the conference tournament and we come to Wartburg, our arch rival. We're playing them for the 3rd time that year. And I have to say, we kicked their ass. So much so that we got to take our starters out at the end of that game to thunderous applause. I have a picture, it is one of my all-time favorite pictures of taking people out, and there is a stack of people behind us cheering these people, getting the recognition that they had earned. But a game that I will remember for the rest of my life is our Carleton game. It was the second round of the NCAA tournament. We were hosting Carleton, who was ranked 3rd in the country. We shouldn't have even got to host them, but kind of a fluke, we did get to host them. They came in here, and as we were warming up, this Stevens Fieldhouse behind me was filling up. And I mean filling up. Back and forth the game went all the way through, but with 3 minutes to go, Carleton started to pull away, and we found ourselves down by 6 points. But we hit a bucket, and the crowd started to come alive. And then we hit another bucket. We've all heard of Hilton Magic, but we had Stevens Magic that day. We went from being down 6 to all of a sudden we were tied, a little over 2 minutes to go. And that crowd put us on its back, literally put us on its back and took us home. Not only did we win that game, but we won by 8 points. 14 points in the last 3 minutes of that game we made up. It was absolutely incredible. We rode a wave that was amazing. Great teams can only be great, again, with support. Had 2 outstanding assistants in my husband, Steve Wiener-Berry and Amy Sanders. We also had a student assistant in Audrey Montag, and 2 administrators in Jan Travis and Jen Thompson, who were behind us and were just made my life very, very easy. We had an athletic trainer in Danielle Smith, who took great care of our athletes. But we also had our families. Our families, you were so supportive of us through the thousands of miles you literally traveled, to the hundreds and hundreds of dollars you spent. You were with us every single step of the way. I know personally, I had 2 little boys in the stands. The Berry boys, you were their heroes. And you weren't just their heroes. You were a lot of kids' heroes in this town. I mean, my goodness, Kelly Taylor had a cow named after her at the local county fair. I guarantee you, Amy Magers never bought a drink at Puff's that whole season. You were big deals well before social media was a thing. I am so grateful to each and every one of you that I got to be along for that journey. I want you to all know how much I love you and how proud I am of how much you have gone on in the last 20 years and have contributed to your communities, to your workforce, and to your families. You have gone on and done some amazing things. I also want you to know that once a Beaver, always a Beaver, and welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Well, I just want, my cup is running over. My heart is so full. This week has just been the memories and just preparing that speech to look back over our stats and everything has just been just such a pleasure to be able to do that. And so this week in this room we have, I'm not sure if we have 17 tonight, but we have over 17 women who will either be here tonight or tomorrow who have literally traveled from all over the country. Some beat out a hurricane to get here. And so I'm so proud of them. And so we're gonna welcome them up along with my husband, who has been with me every part of this journey and was with me on the bench during that season. So ladies, come on up. We're gonna have you introduce yourselves. And again, welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.
Do they want to step to the mic? Or do you want
I'm Tia Moore Showalter. I'm originally from Washington, Iowa, and I live in Tiffin now, and I work for a medical device company.
I'm Lindsay Calder, and I'm originally from Albert City or Lorenz. I now live in Waukee, and I'm a physical therapist for the Island Clinic.
I'm Christina Robinson. I'm originally from Cresco, Iowa, now live in Des Moines, and I work for a fertility company.
I'm Crystal Neal. I'm originally from Brewster, Minnesota. I now live in Watertown, South Dakota, and I work for Farm Credit Services.
I'm Holly McDonough-Jones. I grew up in Woodbolt, Iowa. I live in Lewisburg, Wisconsin now, and I'm a self-employed CPA.
I'm Katie McGuire Campbell. I live in Trainer, was from Trainer, and now I'm an elementary PE teacher.
Kelly Taylor. I'm originally from Ponca, Nebraska. I now live in Athens, Georgia, and I work for State Farm Insurance.
Megan Holtworth Hausworth. I'm originally from Pomeroy, and I now live in Pocahontas, where I work for Wells Ag Supply.
Hi, I'm Jolene Smith. I'm originally from Marshalltown, and now I live in Tiffin, teach high school at Iowa City West.
I'm Amy Megger-Stivis. I'm from Manila, Iowa, and I live in Milford, Nebraska. I'm a paralegal.
I'm Crystal Coleman. I'm from Ventura, Iowa. Live in Beaverton, Oregon. I'm a PE teacher for Portland Republic.
Jessica Griggs Kennedy. I'm from Ledyard, Iowa. Family physician, now live in Waukee.
I'm Tracy Furrow, originally from Rockville City. I now live in Granger. I'm a nurse.
Lindsay Brown, originally from Rockville City also. I now work for the City of Alta as a city clerk.
I'm Kelly Staley Cameron, and I love BV so much that I live in Storm Lake. And I work in the graduate programs here at BV, and I'm going to Puffs with Meggers tonight.
I'm Wheeler Berry, the second half of family. Our boys live in Arizona. Janet gets down there as much as she can, which is quite a bit. And I was just lucky enough to spend time with these guys on the bench and enjoyed every minute.
Soak in the experience of being around your teammates and your lifelong friends and what we have here at this, I'm biased of course, but it's got to be the most beautiful campus in the state of Iowa, and it will really show tomorrow. And a lot of what we have and what we're doing is testament to what you've done, what you did as student athletes, what you're doing as alumni, and what you're doing with your families and the young ones here tonight, who I hope I'm around to induct into the Hall of Fame in 2060. It's been great. We had a full house in here this evening, 230 guests. Give yourself a hand. Thank you for coming. Take a look at what we've got going. New dormitory. We're going to expand Stevens Fieldhouse. We've got the most gorgeous setting in Iowa. Enjoy it with yourselves and one another, your families. Thank you very much, and go Beavers.